This video is all about what's going on in the body and the mind when we go into this stress response. It feels horrible, doesn't it? So let's take a look at why it feels horrible, then we'll come on to the fix. But the fix, you've got to understand what's going on first. I think we often miss that. It's like, let me understand the science and then I can understand how the fix is actually fixing something. So let's go into this. When your anxious mind detects the fear is the fear of the meeting. It might go wrong, maybe it is kind of going wrong, and all of a sudden very quickly we go into this fight, flight, freeze stress response. What that really is the body getting ready to move. So your brain doesn't know what the situation is. It's just a very ancient survival mechanism. So what your brain will do is it will contact your body through your nervous system, and it will start getting you ready to move. So if I'm going to fight something, obviously I need lots of energy and I need to move. If I'm going to flight, so run away, well clearly I need energy to run away from something. And if I'm going to freeze, well actually freezing, although I'm static, I want full tension in my muscles because there's just been a rustle in the bushes over there. Is a porcupine going to walk out or a tiger? Who knows? Let's make sure we're always defaulting to the negative scenario. So I will assume tiger until otherwise. So I freeze. That's what our ancestors did. And of course, the body's doing that in a number of ways. But let me break down the kind of the hormonal situation that's going on in the stress response. So your body's going to produce adrenaline. Adrenaline as a hormone, I like adrenaline. I've got adrenaline now. I'm presenting to you on this video, so I kind of like a bit of an adrenaline as a salesperson. But I'm going to get something called norepinephrine, sometimes called noradrenaline, which is kind of adrenaline, but now in my brain, and that's kind of muddling my thoughts. I don't have my cognitive recall. I don't want that in a meeting. I want full cognitive recall. And also, my body's going to produce cortisol. Sometimes cortisol is called the stress hormone. I don't know if I really agree with that. Cortisol's not all bad. It's what wakes us up in the morning, for example, and sets our circadian rhythm for the day, which helps us go to sleep at night. So cortisol's not bad. Cortisol is cortisol. Now in the stress response, yes, cortisol is going to be produced, and cortisol's role in that is to bring glucose into our bloodstream, which is super helpful if we need to go running away from something. So there are three hormones that are going to be produced in the stress response if we don't take some action. So what else is going on? Our adrenal glands, which are approximately here, I'm not a doctor, but they're approximately here. Our adrenal glands, if we don't kind of do something to stop this, are going to be pumping cortisol and adrenaline and norepinephrine around our system, and we're just not gonna feel good, and we don't want that. We want to be feeling nice and calm. Now cortisol, for us in sales, we need to be a little bit careful about cortisol, because cortisol is okay in kind of fits and starts. So every now and again, our ancestors would go into a high pressure situation, up the levels of cortisol go and back down again after the stressful situation was over. Now in sales, we're constantly in social stress situations. So the danger is we end up with a kind of persistently high level of cortisol over time. And that's not good for us. And these are just some of the possible symptoms of having elevated levels of cortisol over time, so a chronic level of cortisol. Now you can go to your doctor, and if you're suffering from any symptoms whatsoever, always go and visit your doctor, and they can measure your cortisol levels and other hormones, and that might be a useful thing to do. It's not the end of the world because we can do something about fixing this.